Torah portion number 45 for August 9th, 2025 is entitled Ve'ahanan, which means I sought favor. It is taken from Deuteronomy chapter 3, verse 23 through chapter 7, verse 11. The Haftarah is taken from Isaiah chapter 40, verses 1 through 26. The apostolic portion is taken from the book of Luke, chapter 3, verses 2 through 15. Deuteronomy 3, 23 through 29. And I pleaded with Yahovah at that time, saying, O Master Yahovah, you have begun to show your servant your greatness and your strong hand. For who is a mighty one in the heavens or on earth, who does according to your works and according to your might? I pray, let me pass over and see the good land beyond the Jordan, this good hill country and Lebanon. But Yahovah was enraged with me for your sake, and would not listen to me. And Yahovah said to me, Enough of that. Speak no more to me about this matter. Go up to the top of Pisgah, and lift up your eyes westward, and northward, and southward, and eastward, and look with your eyes, for you do not pass over this Jordan. But charge Yehoshua, and strengthen him, and make him brave, for he shall pass over before this people, and cause them to inherit the land which you see. And we dwelt in the valley opposite Beth Peor. Deuteronomy 4. And now, O Israel, listen to the laws and the right rulings which I am teaching you to do, so that you live, and shall go in and possess the land which Yahovah, Elohim of your fathers, is giving you. Do not add to the word which I command you, and do not take away from it, so as to guard the commands of Yahovah your Elohim, which I am commanding you. Your eyes have seen what Yahovah did at Baal Peor, for Yahovah your Elohim has destroyed from your midst all the men who followed Baal Peor. But you who are clinging to Yahovah your Elohim are alive today, every one of you. See, I have taught you laws and right rulings, as Yahovah my Elohim commanded me, to do thus in the land which you go to possess. And you shall guard and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding before the eyes of the peoples who hear all these laws. And they shall say, Only a wise and understanding people is this great nation. For what great nation is there which Elohim, so near to it, as Yahovah our Elohim is to us, whenever we call on him? And what great nation is there that has such laws and righteous right rulings, like all this Torah which I set before you this day? Only guard yourself, and guard your life diligently, lest you forget the words your eyes have seen, and lest they turn aside from your heart all the days of your life. And you shall make them known to your children and your grandchildren, the day when you stood before Yahovah your Elohim in Horeb. Yahovah said to me, Assemble the people to me, and I make them hear my words, so that they learn to fear me all the days they live on the earth, and teach them to their children. And you came near and stood at the foot of the mountain, and the mountain burned with fire to the heart of the heavens, darkness, cloud, and thick darkness. And Yahovah spoke to you out of the midst of the fire. You heard a voice of words, but saw no form. You only heard a voice. And he made known to you his covenant, which he commanded you to do, the 10 words, and he wrote them on 2 tablets of stone. And Yahovah commanded to me at that time to teach you laws and right rulings, for you to do them in the land which you pass over to possess. Therefore, diligently guard yourselves, for you saw no form when Yahovah spoke to you at Horeb out of the midst of the fire, lest you should do corruptly and shall make for yourselves a carved image in the form of any figure, the likeness of male or female, the likeness of any beast that is on the earth, or the likeness of any winged bird that flies in the heavens, the likeness of any creature that creeps on the ground, or the likeness of any fish that is in the water under the earth. And lest you lift up your eyes to the heavens, and shall see the sun and the moon and the stars, and all the host of the heavens, and you be drawn away into bowing down to them and serving them, which Jehovah your Elohim has allotted to all the peoples under the heavens. But Jehovah has taken you and brought you out of the iron furnace, out of Mitzrayim, to be his people, an inheritance, as it is today. And Jehovah was enraged with me because of your words, and swore that I would not pass over the Jordan, and that I would not enter the good land which Jehovah your Elohim is giving you as an inheritance. For I am to die in this land. I am not passing over the Jordan, but you are passing over, and shall possess that good land. Guard yourselves, lest you forget the covenant of Jehovah your Elohim, which he has made with you, and shall make for yourselves a carved image in the form of whatever Jehovah your Elohim has forbidden you. For Jehovah your Elohim is a consuming fire, a jealous El. When you bring forth children and grandchildren, and shall grow old in the land, and shall do corruptly, and make a carved image in the form of whatever, and shall do what is evil in the eyes of Jehovah your Elohim to provoke him, I shall call the heavens and earth to witness against you on that day, that you soon completely perish from the land which you pass over the Jordan to possess. You do not prolong your days in it, but are completely destroyed. And Jehovah shall scatter you among the peoples, and you shall be left few in number among the Gentiles, where Jehovah drives you. And there you shall serve mighty ones, the work of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell. But from there you shall seek Jehovah your Elohim, and shall find, when you search for him with all your heart and with all your being. In your distress, when all these words shall come upon you in latter days, then you shall return to Jehovah your Elohim, and shall obey his voice. For Jehovah your Elohim is a compassionate El. He does not forsake you, nor destroy you, nor forget the covenant of your fathers, which he swore to them. For ask now of the days that are past, which were before you, since the day that Elohim created man on the earth, and ask from one end of the heavens to the other end of the heavens, whether there has been a word as great as this, or has been heard like it. Has a people heard the voice of Elohim speaking out of the midst of the fire, as you have heard, and live? Or has Elohim tried to go and take for himself a nation from the midst of a nation by trials, and by signs, and by wonders, and by battle, and by a strong hand and an outstretched arm, and by great fearsome deeds, according to all that Jehovah your Elohim did for you in Mitzrayim before your eyes? You have been shown it, to know that Jehovah himself is Elohim. There is no one beside him. From the heavens he let you hear his voice to instruct you, and on earth he showed you his great fire, and you heard his word out of the midst of the fire. And because he loved your fathers, therefore he chose their seed after them, and brought you out of Mitzrayim with his presence, with his great power, to drive out from before you nations greater and stronger than you, to bring you in, to give you their land as an inheritance, as it is today. And you shall know today, and shall recall to your heart, that Jehovah himself is Elohim, in the heavens above and on the earth beneath. There is none else. And you shall guard his laws and his commands, which I command you today, so that it is well with you and with your children after you, and so that you prolong your days on the soil, which Jehovah your Elohim is giving you for all time. Then Moshe separated 3 cities beyond the Jordan, toward the rising of the sun, for him who kills someone to flee there, he who kills his neighbor unintentionally, without having hated him in time past, and might flee to one of these cities and live. Betzer in the wilderness, in the level land for the Reubenites, and Ramoth and Galad for the Gadites, and Golan in Bashan for the Menashites. And this is the Torah which Moshe set out before the children of Israel. These are the witnesses and the laws and the right rulings, which Moshe spoke to the children of Israel after they came out of Mitzrayim, beyond the Jordan, in the valley opposite Beth-por, in the land of Sihon, sovereign of the Amorites, who dwelt at Heshbon, whom Moshe and the children of Israel had smitten after they came out of Mitzrayim. And they took possession of his land, and the land of Og, sovereign of Bashan, 2 sovereigns of the Amorites, who were beyond the Jordan, toward the rising of the sun, from Aror, which is on the bank of the Wadi Arnon, even to Mount Sion, which is Hermon, and all the desert plain beyond the Jordan, as far as the sea of the Arabah, which is below the slopes of Pisgah. Deuteronomy 5. And Moshe called all Yisrael, and said to them, Hear, O Yisrael, the laws and right rulings which I speak in your hearing today, and you shall learn them, and guard to do them. Jehovah our Elohim made a covenant with us in Horeb. Jehovah did not make this covenant with our fathers, but with us, those who are here today, all of us who are alive. Jehovah spoke with you face to face on the mountain from the midst of the fire. I stood between Jehovah and you at that time to declare to you the word of Jehovah. For you were afraid because of the fire, and you did not go up the mountain, saying, I am Jehovah your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, out of the house of bondage. You have no other mighty ones against my face. You do not make for yourself a carved image, any likeness of which is in the heavens above, or which is in the earth beneath, or which is in the waters under the earth. You do not bow down to them nor serve them. For I, Jehovah your Elohim, am a jealous El, visiting the crookedness of the fathers upon the children, to the 3rd and 4th generations of those who hate me, but showing kindness to thousands, to those who love me and guard my commands. You do not bring the name of Jehovah your Elohim to naught, for Jehovah does not leave unpunished who brings his name to naught. Guard the Sabbath day, to set it apart, as Jehovah your Elohim commanded you. 6 days you labor, and shall do all your work. But the 7th day is a Sabbath of Jehovah your Elohim. You do not do any work, you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your ox, nor your donkey, nor any of your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates, so that your male servant and your female servant rest as you do. And you shall remember that you were a slave in the land of Mitzrayim, and that Jehovah your Elohim brought you out from there by a strong hand and an outstretched arm. Therefore Jehovah your Elohim commanded you to observe the Sabbath day. Respect your father and your mother, as Jehovah your Elohim has commanded you, so that your days are prolonged, and so that it is well with you on the soil which Jehovah your Elohim is giving you. You do not murder, you do not commit adultery, you do not steal, you do not bear false witness against your neighbor, you do not covet your neighbor's wife, nor do you desire your neighbor's house, his field, nor his male servant, nor his female servant, his ox, nor his donkey, or whatever belongs to your neighbor. These words Jehovah spoke to all your assembly in the mountain from the midst of the fire, of the cloud, and of the thick darkness with a loud voice. And he added no more. And he wrote them on 2 tablets of stone, and gave them to me. And it came to be, when you heard the voice from the midst of the darkness, while the mountain was burning with fire, that you came near to me, all the heads of your tribes and your elders, and said, See, Jehovah our Elohim has shown us his esteem and his greatness, and we have heard his voice from the midst of the fire. Today we have seen that Elohim speaks with man, and he lives. And now why should we die? For this great fire is consuming us. If we hear the voice of Jehovah our Elohim any more, then we shall die. For who is there of all flesh who has heard the voice of the living Elohim, speaking from the midst of the fire, as we have, and does live? You shall go near and hear all that Jehovah our Elohim says, and speak to us all that Jehovah our Elohim says to you, and we shall hear and do it. And Jehovah heard the voice of your words when you spoke to me. And Jehovah said to me, I have heard the voice of the words of this people, which they have spoken to you. They have done well in all that they have spoken. Oh, that they had such a heart in them, to fear me and guard all my commands always, so that it might be well with them and with their children forever. Go, say to them, return to your tents. But you, stand here by me, and let me speak to you all the commands, and all the laws, and the right rulings which you are to teach them. And they shall do them in the land which I am giving them to possess. And you shall guard to do as Jehovah your Elohim has commanded you. Do not turn aside to the right or to the left. Walk in all the way which Jehovah your Elohim has commanded you, so that you live and it be well with you, and you shall prolong your days in the land which you possess. Deuteronomy 6. And this is the command, the laws and right rulings, which Jehovah your Elohim has commanded, to teach you to do in the land which you are passing over to possess, so that you fear Jehovah your Elohim, to guard all his laws and his commands which I command you, you and your son and your grandson, all the days of your life, and that your days be prolonged. And you shall hear, O Israel, and shall guard to do, that it might be well with you, and that you increase greatly, as Jehovah, Elohim of your fathers, has spoken to you, in a land flowing with milk and honey. Hear, O Israel, Jehovah our Elohim, Jehovah is one, and you shall love Jehovah your Elohim with all your heart, and with all your being, and with all your might. And these words which I am commanding you today shall be in your heart, and you shall impress them upon your children, and shall speak of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up, and shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. And it shall be, when Jehovah your Elohim brings you into the land of which he swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Yitzhak, to Jacob, to give you great and good cities, which you did not build, and houses filled with all kinds of goods, which you did not fill, and wells dug, which you did not dig, vineyards and olive trees, which you did not plant, and you shall eat and be satisfied. Be on guard, lest you forget Jehovah who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, from the house of bondage. Fear Jehovah your Elohim, and serve him, and swear by his name. Do not go after other mighty ones, the mighty ones of peoples who are all around you, For Yahovah your Elohim is a jealous El in your midst, lest the displeasure of Yahovah your Elohim burn against you. Then he shall destroy you from the face of the earth. Do not try your Elohim, as you tried him in Massah. Diligently guard the commands of Yahovah your Elohim, and his witnesses, and his laws, which he has commanded you. And you shall do what is right and good in the eyes of Yahovah, that it might be well with you. And you shall go in and possess the good land, of which Yahovah swore to your fathers, to drive out all your enemies from before you, as Yahovah has spoken. When your son asks you in time to come, say, what is the meaning of the witnesses and the laws and the right rulings which Yahovah our Elohim has commanded you? Then you shall say to your son, we were slaves of Pharaoh in Mitzrayim, and Yahovah brought us out of Mitzrayim with a strong hand. And Yahovah sent signs and wonders, great and grievous, upon Mitzrayim, upon Pharaoh, and upon all his household before our eyes, and then brought us out from there to bring us in, to give us the land of which he swore to our fathers. And Yahovah commanded us to do all these laws, to fear Yahovah our Elohim, for our good always, to keep us alive, as it is today. And it is righteousness for us when we guard to do all this command before Yahovah our Elohim, as he has commanded us. Deuteronomy 7, 1 through 11. When Yahovah your Elohim brings you into the land which you go to possess, he shall also clear away many nations before you, the Hittites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than you. And when Yahovah your Elohim gives them over to you, you shall smite them and put them under the ban completely. Make no covenant with them, and show them no favor. And do not intermarry with them. You do not give your daughter to his son, and you do not take his daughter for your son. For he turns your son away from following me to serve other mighty ones. Then the displeasure of Yahovah shall burn against you and promptly destroy you. But this is what you do to them. Break down their altars, and smash their pillars, and cut down their Asherim, and burn their carved images with fire. For you are a set-apart people to Yahovah your Elohim. Yahovah your Elohim has chosen you to be a people for himself, a treasured possession above all the peoples on the face of the earth. Yahovah did not set his love on you, nor choose you, because you were more numerous than any other people, for you were the least of all peoples, but because of Yahovah loving you, and because of him guarding the oath which he swore to your fathers. Yahovah has brought you out with a strong hand, and redeemed you from the house of bondage, from the hand of Pharaoh, sovereign of Mitzrayim. And you shall know that Yahovah your Elohim, he is Elohim, the trustworthy El, guarding covenant and kindness for 1,000 generations with those who love him and those who guard his commands, but repaying those who hate him to their face, to destroy them. He does not delay to do so with him who hates him. He repays him to his face. And you shall guard the command and the laws and the right rulings which I command you today, to do them. Isaiah 40, 1 through 26. Comfort, comfort my people, says your Elohim. Speak to the heart of Jerusalem and cry out to her that her hard service is completed, that her crookedness is pardoned, that she has received from the land of Yahovah double for all her sins. The voice of one crying in the wilderness, Prepare the way of Yahovah. Make straight in the desert a highway for our Elohim. Let every valley be raised, let every mountain and hill made low. And the steep ground shall become level, and the rough places made smooth. And the esteem of Yahovah shall be revealed, and all flesh together shall see it. For the mouth of Yahovah has spoken. The voice said, Cry out. And he said, What do I cry? All flesh is grass, and all its loveliness is like the flower of the field. Grass shall wither, the flower shall fade, when the Spirit of Yahovah has blown on it. Truly, the people is grass. Grass shall wither, the flower shall fade, but the word of our Elohim stands forever. You who bring good news to Sion, get up into the high mountains. You who bring good news to Jerusalem, lift up your voice with strength. Lift it up, be not afraid. Say to the cities of Yehuda, See your Elohim. See, the Master Yahovah comes with a strong hand, and his arm rules for him. See, his reward is with him, and his recompense before him. He feeds his flock like a shepherd. He gathers the lambs with his arm, and carries them in his bosom, gently leading those who are with young. Who has measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, and measured the heavens with a span, and contained the dust of the earth in a measure, and weighed the mountains in scales, and the hills in a balance? Who has meted out the Spirit of Yahovah, or as his counselor taught him? With whom did he take counsel, and who instructed him, and taught him in the path of right ruling? Who taught him knowledge, and showed him the way of understanding? See, nations are as a drop in a bucket, and are reckoned as dust on the balance. See, he lifts up isles as fine dust, and Lebanon is not enough to burn, nor its beast enough for a burnt offering. All nations before him are as a non-entity, and they are reckoned by him as less than a speck and emptiness. And to whom would you liken El? And what likeness would you compare to him? The workman molds a graven image, and the goldsmith overspreads it with gold, and the silversmith casts silver chains. He who is too poor for such an offering chooses a tree that does not rot. He seeks for himself a skilled craftsman to prepare a carved image that does not totter. Did you not know? Have you not heard? Has it not been declared to you from the beginning? Have you not understood from the foundations of the earth? It is he who sits above the circle of the earth, and its inhabitants are like grasshoppers, who stretches out the heavens like a curtain, and spreads them out like a tent to dwell in, who brings princes to naught, shall make the rulers of the earth as emptiness. Hardly have they been planted, hardly have they been sown, hardly has their stock taken root in the earth, when he shall blow on them, and they wither, and a whirlwind take them away like stubble. And to whom then do you liken me, or to whom am I compared? Says the set-apart one. Lift up your eyes on high and see. Who has created these? He who is bringing out their host by number. He calls them all by name, by the greatness of his might, and by the strength of his power. Not one is missing. Luke 3, verses 2 to 15. Hannah and Caiaphas, being high priests, the word of Elohim came to Johanan, the son of Zechariah, in the wilderness. And he went into all the neighborhood of the Jordan, proclaiming an immersion of repentance for the forgiveness of sins, as it has been written in the book of the words of Yeshayahu the prophet, saying, A voice of one crying in the wilderness, Prepare the way of Yahovah, to make his path straight. Every valley shall be filled, and every mountain and hill shall be made low, and the crooked shall become straight, and the rough become smooth ways. And all flesh shall see the deliverance of Elohim. He said therefore to the crowds that came out to be immersed by him, Brood of adders, who warned you to flee from the wrath to come? Therefore bear fruit worthy of repentance, and do not begin to say to yourself, We have Abraham as our father. For I say to you that Elohim is able to raise up children to Abraham from these stones. And even now the axe is laid to the root of the trees. Therefore every tree that does not bear fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. And the crowds asked him, saying, What then shall we do? And answering, he said to them, Let him who has 2 undergarments share with him who has none, and let him who has food do likewise. And tax collectors also came to be immersed, and said to him, Teacher, what shall we do? And he said to them, Collect no more than what is appointed for you. And soldiers also asked him, saying, And what shall we do? And he said to them, Do not intimidate anyone or accuse falsely, and be satisfied with your pay. But as the people were in expectation, and all were reasoning in their hearts about Yohanan, whether he was the Messiah or not, Yohanan answered to them all, I indeed immerse you in water, but one mightier than I is coming, whose sandal straps I am not worthy to loosen. He shall immerse you in the set apart spirit and fire.